Hey guys, how's it going? Saturday again, so me, Adam again, and this week's video is on living situations, which is fun. I have had a few since, a few different ones since coming out of like high school and into college, and then also a few since coming out. And I guess I'm just gonna hit all of those. Less recently, or the least recent, would have been freshman year dorms. I was not out as trans yet, but was pretty close. I don't know. I've always kind of like dressed like this and always kind of roughly looked like a guy. So I definitely didn't quite fit in on my all-girls, all-female dorm room floor and with my roommate. But weird backstory even into freshman year. I came to college fall semester like all freshmen do, and I was only there for a week. Barely made it through welcome week, and I dropped out actually. And my parents let me come home, and I had to get my shit together. Kind of told my parents that I was like gay at the time. Okay, sorry, phone ring. But yeah, I kind of came out, got all that out of the way with my parents, and they let me stay home that whole fall semester. I just worked and whatnot, lived at my parents' house. That was no big deal. That was just, you know, average life. Kind of funny story about that though. When I was in college for that week, I was actually placed with a foreign exchange student roommate who spoke no English. So that was an interesting one. I don't think she or her friends knew what to make of me or what to do with me. But yeah, so she was a foreign exchange student right out of China. No English, good times. Wonder how she's doing. So fast forward to spring semester, I came back to the same college, Kent State. Lived there for a good few years, but I came back and I got into dorms again. Unfortunately, same situation, all girls floor, female roommate, just your average straight cis female roommate. But like 3 days into that semester, she informed me that she had been already planning on moving in with one of her friends a couple floors down. That happened, and through a weird fluke in the system, I didn't get another roommate, so I ended up having a double like dorm room all to myself. It was kind of cool. And then I also had a friend who lived off campus, like in an actual house, and I just kind of like hung out there and drank and smoked and slept on her couch a lot, because it was a lot more comfortable. In the dorms, as far as like shower situation, it was pretty easy to get around. Like I said, I wasn't there all that much, and I would just kind of go back to campus for classes, and then occasionally stop in, get some clothes, shower real quick. But the cool thing about showers in some of the dorms at Kent State is that they're set up like pods. Pods is what they're called. And basically nothing is together. There's like communal sinks, but there's these little like, they're almost like handicap stalls in like a mall or something. It's closed off, a private door, and then you have a shower and a toilet and a sink in there. So even like communal sinks, like you don't even have to worry about it. Even if I wanted to brush my teeth, I would just lock myself in there right quick. Wash my dishes, I would wash them in a pod. I stayed out of the communal section of the bathroom as much as I could, which was awesome. Pretty easy to hide, throw my robe on, and just lock myself into a pod. So, suggestion, if you're gonna have to dorm, and they don't necessarily have gender-neutral housing, try and find a dorm that has pod-style bathrooms. Sometimes they're called like quads or something, and then everything is completely private. I never had to worry about anything. I was locked in there, and like I said, I just kind of planned it for when people weren't gonna be in there too, which meant I could just kind of slink into a pod and then slink out, go back to my dorm room. People, they still didn't really know what to think of me on the floor. They still kind of looked at me weird, but I wasn't even out as trans yet. I just kind of roughly looked like a guy. I had my birth name on my door and everything, and that wasn't even an issue at the time because I wasn't out as trans, even to myself. Next year, my sophomore year of college, I got right out of those dorms and shared a house with two two other girls, a really good friend of mine and a coworker, her girlfriend, who I had been basically living with when like I just mentioned, living on their couch. I moved in with her girlfriend Allie, and then my good friend Jen. And that was good. Sans a really shitty landlord. It was a good time. Definitely unique. But it was a cool time. A good house, friends. That was actually where I wasn't even out as trans at that time. Kind of came out to myself in that house, in that living situation. Figured that all out. Next year, at this point, I had been dropped out of school again. This is kind of when I dropped out for good, almost. Dropped out that spring semester. I was just working. I was working at Chipotle and at my other job. Fast forward to the next year, I moved into what would be my last house, my last living situation in Kent, which was by far the best. I moved back into the house that I'd lived in my freshman year on that couch, but I actually got a bedroom this time, and a real bed and everything, and I actually paid rent and whatnot with two of my friends, which was awesome. We had two other friends living up above us. It was like the first floor of a house, and then our other friends lived up top, two of them. So it was pretty great. We all kind of had the whole house. It was called like the rugby house, because all my friends were on the women's rugby team. Parties. It was your typical college house. It was a good time. And this was the first house that I was openly out and trans at, and living with great friends. So it was completely fine. No big deal. Living in Kent was awesome for me. I couldn't afford it at the end, which is kind of why I moved back home, which is why I'm still at home, is just getting back on my feet. I was really broke living in Kent. Which is something that a lot of people come into when they're trying to like live on their own and they don't want to go back home. I was lucky enough to be able to move back into my parents' house at the end of it, which is where I am now. I live with my parents. I refurnished our basement into a little head shoppy bachelor pad down in the basement, which is cool. I have kind of my own space. It doesn't have a bathroom or anything, but I stay down here majority of the time. Living at home is a little bit weird for me because I'm not really out. I came out to my family a year ago, and that's been about it. My mom tries. When like my dad isn't around, she's pretty good. She'll call me Adam. She has like a wiener dog, like a little dachshund that she's obsessed with. She's always like calling me brother to the wiener dog. If that makes sense. Like I'm his big brother. But that's only when my dad isn't around. As soon as my dad's around, that's gone. Quiet down. It's about making him comfortable, I guess. And my dad has not ever once acknowledged the trans thing. I told him, he blinked and that was over. I told him via letter, and he's never once acknowledged it. He's never said anything other than calling me by the wrong name, referring to me as my birth name, even to like my girlfriend, or I don't know, little things. He like saw my contact information in my coworker's phone once as Adam C, and he told her to change it, and like bothered her all night about. My dad and I kind of work at the same restaurant, and he like pestered her all night to like change it back. Like, oh, no, yeah, don't put that on your phone. So whatever. Same. I have an 18-year-old sister who also still lives at home. She's still in high school, moving out at the end of the year, but she, I think, is more so confused. She can't cross my dad, she can't cross my mom. She's kind of unfortunately stuck in the middle. She does try though. She tries at least to not ever refer to me as like a she or as a her or with my birth name. It kind of gets uncomfortable because she can't yet, I think, say like he in reference to me. When my mom talks about it, if my girlfriend is ever with her and refers to me as he or as Adam, she's fine. She doesn't even blink about it anymore, which is awesome, and honestly, a lot better than I ever would have given her. So, it's okay. But honestly, I'm really just trying to get out. I'm like looking for a apartments, or maybe gonna, I don't know, I'm trying to get out of there. I need to get out of there. They're very pestery. They're good at the come into my room to give me some laundry, and also, oops, I went through all the papers on your desk, and like the laundry that they're giving me is a pair of socks that aren't even mine. So like, you know, kind of, you know, give me a break, but they won't. So honestly, I think out of like the 4 living situations that I just went through, this is the worst. But it's free, and I'm saving up money, which is cool, I guess. But that is working out, because hopefully I'm gonna be starting tea soon. Segue, I have an appointment scheduled in like half a month, like a couple weeks, to hopefully start on tea. So that's very exciting, and I hope that once that happens, like, you know, they'll see, my dad will see that I wait for you, you know. It's gonna happen. These changes are gonna happen. It doesn't matter if you won't call me by the right name. Sucks. Testosterone's going in, and changes are gonna happen. So we will see how that pans out. But yeah, other than, you know, I'm hoping to really just get out of my parents' house. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that in this one single video, but yeah, need out of my parents' house. Hopefully next year I'm potentially looking to move with my girlfriend. She might move to Chicago or somewhere. She's a fashion designer, or she will be once she graduates. So hopefully I can just get out of the state, and I think that some distance between my parents and I will help. Hopefully. It's kind of one of those accept me or not kind of things. Right now they're not, so, you know, I take what I can get. Yeah, that is my living situation. Any comments, questions, or concerns can be dropped in the comments section, or I will once again link my blog here, and feel free to hit me up on there in my inbox, or on Twitter, or anything. I guess I can leave my Twitter link this time too. This is a really long video, I realize, sorry. But yeah, that is living situations with me, Adam. That's about it. I think next week we're talking about jobs and applications and whatnot. So, I will see you guys next week.